I'm Caroline from Louisville, North Carolina. I lost my brother Tyler 2 months ago. There aren't many things that I can remember from the night that my mom told me my brother was gone, but I do remember where I was when I got the phone call. I remember somehow making it to Greensboro, an hour drive. I remember the sound of my boots on the hallway floor, running back to my childhood bedroom where my brother laid. I remember what it felt like to grab the paramedic's arms and beg her to let me see my brother, and when I did, the pure heartbreak that followed. I remember the clicking sound of the stretcher when they were taking my brother out of the house. I remember that the next time I saw my brother, he was laying still on a bed in a funeral home. It was just us family and two of his closest friends. I remember pinching his toe, hoping that maybe he'd lean up and smack me and this was all a dream. I remember the matted hair around the crown of his head, a sign of where the medical examiner had been to find answers. I remember that for a moment it felt like me laying on that table, that the world was dark and I didn't feel like I was alive, that my world had ended when my brother left it. See, we were a normal family. It was me and two older brothers. We had the normal sibling fights, slammed doors, broken couches, but we still won't tell my parents about that. I joked that when Tyler wasn't protecting me, he was teasing me. He would walk me down to the barn at the end of the street every week for my horseback riding lessons, and some days I got there with stink bombs in my hair, and some days he would be there to pick me up an hour later and walk me home. We went to good schools. We lived in a nice house. We had family vacations. We went and visited our grandparents. We always had a family dog. We lived a pretty normal life. And then somehow, some way, Tyler fell into quicksand and heroin grabbed him. It wasn't my brother anymore. I lost a lot of faith in him, and he lost a lot of faith in himself when he found that he couldn't get out of this quicksand. No matter how hard he tried, it was hard. And finally, he was able to be honest with us and tell us that, he did need help. It was trouble that he was in. He told our oldest brother that, I want to get clean. This is something I want to do. I want to be a man. I want to be a dad, but I just don't know how. I don't know how to cope when my only coping mechanism was heroin. I don't know how to live in a world through clear eyes when for so long I've lived through hazy eyes. I'm not sure how Tyler got to be addicted to heroin, but I know that heroin stole a lot from him and stole a lot from me. I will forever miss him. When Tyler died, my childhood died with him. I will miss the opportunities to sit around a fire and talk to our kids about what it was like growing up, just the two of us, our beach trips and our hiking and exploring in the backyard, the tents we made in the woods. It'll always be one-sided stories now. The truth is, I'm no different than Tyler. I am born to the same parents, raised the same way, the same heart. Tyler's no different than the nurse that checked him into the hospital. Tyler's no different than the counselor he talked to. Tyler's no different than the detox people he sat beside. He's no different than your high schooler, than the high school teacher, than your daughter who is graduating with her master's degree. Heroin does not care. It has no specifications on who it grabs. It will grab you and it will hold you until you are gone. No one is immune.